One. In the 90 from teaching.
You might be.
Yeah, we're recording now, so.
Wonder if that was there was this top one on those pants.
Recording software.
We're recording right now.
Recording.
I've got us recording right now. You never wanna,
There, okay. Just leave it alone, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're good, right?
I put them in.
Okay.
I didn't want the resolution. On the agenda.
Yeah, I just recorded. So it's there.
Here? Oh, I see, okay. Okay.
That last line up for you. Have 7 bells.
I will call the meeting to order. First thing we will do is have a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda.
Motion. Adopt the agenda.
And we'll go too fast and put the one that catches up. Can you hear us, Emil?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Next item then is reception of public hearings and delegations. Under other planning matters, we have one item this evening. Proposal to subdivide 4116-21-8318, part northeast 30-10-19 WPM. MB1 Developments Limited is the applicant.
We will need a mover.
I'll make the motion. I'll read out the application or the,
You'll move it and read out the motion.
yes, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Whereas MB1 Development Ltd, Tycan Manufacturing Inc., Tyler Rice, the applicant, has applied to subdivide part of Northeast 30-10-19 application number 4116-21-8318. And whereas council held a public hearing on November the 16th, 2021, where numerous concerns were brought forward by the area residents, and whereas a safety concern was brought up to council's attention with the extra traffic that will be directed onto Gray Road. And whereas groundwater quantity was also a major concern to the area residents. Now therefore be it resolved. Now therefore be it resolved that the RM of Cornwallis rejects this application until such time Gray Road improvements and water supply are satisfactory to the area residents and council. That's my motion.
Does anybody wish to speak to that motion?
Well, you need a second.
Oh, sorry, a seconder to that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Emil, thank you.
Yeah, I'll,
Anybody wish to speak to that motion?
yeah, I'm over, let's see, we had the public hearing, heard a lot of great concerns. One of the things that really stuck out was safety. Safety of Gray Road, and this council is not, it wasn't new. It was identified in this public engagement report that we just received. And at the end of the day, it is a safety hazard. It's been on council's radar to get a report prepared. At the end of the day, I'm all for development, but like I've always said, we have to be responsible. And I've heard it from all councils, we want development. But at this particular time, it's just too much of a risk from all the concerns that we've heard from the area. And groundwater, to me, is still a major concern, and we have done. We've had at least 3, maybe even 4 meetings in consultation with our engineer. What can we do, thinking ahead of future development there? Because it is a good, attractable piece of property if we do it right, but without fixing that Gray Road and fixing our groundwater situation, that will relieve a lot of the excitement out there. I think could not support moving forward basically as is, basically as the application indicated. So that's the comments I think. And in all fairness, if you go back and study the public engagement from 4 or 5 years ago, those same concerns were brought forward, and council, you can be rest assured, like, we will need to address, number one, the road. But water might be like right after that, but I think we have to address Gray Road from a safety point of view. Yeah, I can live with washboards. I mean, they're not, but the safety onto that Grand Valley Road, we have to take our time, set money aside and get that report done by our engineer.
Anybody else wish to speak to that motion? Go ahead.
I cannot support this motion for the following reason. The applicant most likely will go for the municipal board and plead his case. Looking into fixing or whatever we are doing with Gray Road will be a lengthy process. And in the by going to the municipal board, we lose control. If he would have applied, we would have approved resolution. Then point 1 is the zoning bylaw has to be amended for the lots. Point 2, variation order would have been applied for, so another time frame. And then point 3 is all the different options that the municipality can put onto the applicant in the development agreement, which has not been done. So we don't know what we want to put in there or not, what can be done. That's point 3. And at the next council meeting, more or less, we will address the road as such, including a study, how far, how wide, I don't know. The study probably will be at least a year. Then the water too, will be looking at an alternative solution for the water. And also we should look or will look into sort of a referendum. At one point, should a new subdivision be added before some of the properties of the old ones that are still on there, but are not sold out yet. Yeah, those are my reasons for not supporting this resolution.
Anybody else wish to speak to this resolution? I will call for the question.
Mr. Chair, we're gonna give everybody a chance. I wanna kind of make some comments after Kurt.
Sure.
Okay, I mean, I see where Kurt's coming from, but at the end of the day, we can't control the municipal board. But when the residents have spoken in 2017 and they have spoken again, a safety concern, being threatened going to the municipal board, I mean, let the chips fall where they may fall. I mean, we will have a chance, most likely, to argue our case, why every one of these people that stood up, really, if you listen to them, they never really said, we don't want more houses out there. They're saying, fix that road first and deal with the water. Give us water, and I'm confident if you would put those two things first and saying, we'll deal with the road, Mr. Weiserberg, people don't trust you. And the reason being, you had 4 years, this was on the agenda, on council, $40,000 a year mark, it got deferred. So how can you say at the next council meeting, it will go on there? At the end of the day, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I'm saying we have a great opportunity here to fix a concern that was brought forward by the residents to the water. And then we will work with every developer out there to basically, once these things are addressed, we'll work with them fairly, openly, and basically move forward then. But to approve it now or whatever and say we'll fix things later, well, we haven't fixed anything in 4 years since the report clearly identified we basically need to improve some of the infrastructure there. We haven't done nothing. That report, we haven't done one thing in actually it's going on 5 years. And that's really sad from that we haven't even been able to at least get a study done on Gray Road. To identify what needs to be done and how much money. To approve something and say, well, we can deal with the aftermath later. No, that's not a way responsible elected officials should be dealing
Thank
with.
you, Mr. Wolfer, for your in-depth explanation. Now, I did not feel threatened by the applicant. If you did, I don't know why. I don't think the rest of council did feel threatened by the applicant. Now, your name is on a record from December 7th, 2017, where you, Tarifa at that time, and Mike Waddell, fellow councillor, were at the meeting where the draft Grand Valley plan was provided. Now, what did you do in the 1 year before the new council came on with the plan, looking into studies and so on?
Mr. Chairperson, I'm glad Councillor Weisenberg brought it up. That's the minutes. We discussed the development plan. Now, you have to understand, in here, in the engagement report, they identified some very key points.
I read.
Look how open that council was at the time. Now, if you go back to find out when that $40,000 hit the budget, it did hit the budget, I'm certain, that year to get Gray Road fixed. So that would have alleviated one problem. And if you remember, I think it was 2019, we sat down with Elton, Mr. Chairperson.
I would like you to keep your fingers to yourself, please.
Okay.
Now I feel threatened.
So basically, at the end of the day, we did deal with things that were identified. We sat down with Elton, didn't we? To see if we can potentially bring water to the area. So we did identify it, but there was no appetite there. We had it on the budget 3 years in a row, for sure, maybe even 4. $40,000 was earmarked for upgrading Gray Road. We haven't done it. I didn't get the support, Mr. Wasserberg.
Mr. Hofer, then why didn't you push for that road to be upgraded? You were still part of this council. I wasn't the only one that moved it into a certain spot on the budget. We all were, you included.
I did not vote to approve that budget, and I can tell you the reasons why at a later date. I voted against that budget for various reasons, and that was one of them. I have put it on there every year. The CEO had it up there, and that's the reason I'm saying. I'm not saying shutting down development out there. I'm saying let's deal with the concerns first, then as we correct some of the issues out there, there'll be opportunities for development out there. That's all I've got.
Okay, is everybody done?
I'm done.
Bobby? You're okay? I'll call for the question. All in favor
To reject it.
to reject the resolution the way it was just read?
Emil?
Can you see me?
Yes.
Still got all 5 fingers.
Who's opposed?
Those that are opposed? Only one.
Motion carries.
Motion carried.
1 second here, please. And the next item then is adjournment, please.
Move
We
to
need a
adjourn.
mover and a seconder.
Second.
I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Now, 7:13.